Racing and the third and final round of the World of Sport Challenge. The title race is wide open. This is the leaderboard at the moment. The clear leader after 2 rounds is the American Randy Mamola. He and his Suzuki have picked up 25 points, but he's not in the field today. New Zealand's Graham Crosby and the other American rider Wayne Gardner share second place with 15. South Africa's Cork Ballington is fourth with 12, and the local boy and a great favourite at Donington, Ron Haslam, has 10 points and is in 5th place. Well, it's double points today for the final round. That means 30 for third place, 24 for second, and 20 for third. So anyone in the top 5 has a real chance of taking the title. Let's get the views now of 2 of the top contenders, Wayne Gardner and Cork Ballington, talking now to Andrew Marriott.
Cork Ballington, you're racing here on your Grand Prix Kawasaki against largely a field of 4 strokes. Do you think the bike really is competitive against the 1000cc machines?
Yes, my Kawasaki, being a GP machine, is very highly powered, and you know, it's a race thoroughbred. Whereas I think these big 4-strokes are basically, I think the engines are based on a road machine, so I think it's pretty limited to the amount of horsepower they can get out of them. So in the horsepower field, we're not far behind them, and yet we're a lot lighter. So out on the track here, it works out very even, with I think the GP machine having a slight advantage in manoeuvrability.
Wayne Gardner, you're second in the World of Sport Championship. The leader, Randy Mamola, isn't with us today. What do you reckon your chances are of pulling off the title?
Hopefully pretty good. It depends on how Cork's going to go, really. Like, Cork's pretty good, Randy, and really fast. And if he beats me, I've sort of got to finish in, with, I think, without looking at the scores, more or less next to him. But hopefully I'm going to try and beat him and sort of be there at the end. I'd sort of like to win this. It'd be great, you know.
How's the new Honda going?
We've had a few little teething problems and that with them, but they're coming along quite good, and they're getting, each time we're out, they're getting better and better and better, and I think it'll be quite good, really.
Well, the race is 18 laps long. They're on the warm-up lap now, coming back, of course, to the grid, and our commentators at Donington are Phil Reed and Peter Neal.
The conditions are perfect for this final round of the World of Sport Superbike Challenge for 1982. Fastest in practice was Steve Parrish, riding machine number 6, 1 minute 15.4 seconds. In fact, just 1 second only covering the first 6. 1 second only covering the first 6. Phil Reed, this is going to be quite a race, because any 1 from 6 could win the championship.
Well, that's right, Peter. It's nice to see Steve Parrish standing in for his injured teammate Barry Sheene, and surprisingly on pole position there with a very good time, just about a second or so off the lap record. And Roger Marshall with his new Daytona 1023cc Suzuki up in second place. Obviously going to give Steve a hell of a battle.
So anybody's race it is, and we come into the chicane. That's Roger Marshall, machine number 11, riding that 1023 Suzuki, currently lying second in the Motorcycle News Superbike Championship for this season, and a man who I think would be a very, very popular winner of the championship overall. But there's number 8, Wayne Gardner, the Australian. Number 13, Chris Guy, up in second place, just 1/5 of a second behind the leader. Number 6, Steve Parrish. Number 11, Roger Marshall. And number 13, Chris Guy. First 3 in practice for this World of Sports Superbike Challenge, the final round, and the magnificent trophy waiting at the end of 18 laps. 13, as we said, Chris Guy, not superstitious. He always likes to ride machine number 13. Number 8, Wayne Gardner, the man lying second in the championship. Number 27, that's Steve Henshaw. And seconds away now from the start. A clutch start, 10 seconds to go. The lights will change to green. And in fact, no, the red flag has been shown. There's a problem for one of the riders, but we should be underway any second. 27, Steve Henshaw from Jacksdale there. And the lights go to green, and away they go. 18 laps, 35.23 miles. Roger Marshall, number 11. Number 2, Ron Haslam. Number 8, Wayne Gardner. The Suzuki leading the Hondas. Number 14 there was Stuart Vann, the New Zealander. They're round the red gate for the first time, and now down through the swervery of Donington. Hollywood and Craner curves for the first time down to the old hairpin, braking, changing down to second gear at about 70 miles an hour. And it's Roger Marshall from Wayne Gardner, but only just the Suzuki and Honda battle. Ron Haslam is closing up there, and Gardner takes the lead. Wayne Gardner from Roger Marshall with Ron Haslam there as well. Then number 14, Stu Avant, down to McLean's for the first time. Gardner, Marshall, Haslam, Avant, still closely knit together as they come up to Coppice for the first time. Number 3 there, Joey Dunlop, the new TT Formula 1 world champion. He clinched that title at the Ulster Grand Prix meeting only last week. But it's Wayne Gardner who takes that early lead. Number 13, Chris Guy, is closing up on the inside of Ron Haslam as they come into the chicane. Well, Gardner leads. Chris Guy got up into second place. Ron Haslam is third and Roger Marshall is fourth.
Peter is lucky to get away with that, Chris Guy. I thought he was off for sure.
Ron Haslam is through into second place ahead of Chris Guy. Chasing now, number 8, Wayne Gardner. It's the 2 Hondas out in front. And the Works Suzuki of Roger Marshall in fourth place, just behind number 13, Chris Guy, on his 500cc Suzuki. And Chris Guy really throwing this machine around at Donington here today. On the Starkey's Bridge, this is lap number 2. Gardner from Haslam. Changing down, 70 miles an hour around McLean's. Chris Guy, Roger Marshall still in fourth place. These are the leading 4. Up to Coppice Corner. This is a third gear corner, again about 70 miles an hour. And it's the 2 Hondas out in front. Then the private machine of Chris Guy, the 498 Suzuki, and then the Works Suzuki of Roger Marshall. And Haslam making a move. Ron Haslam, the local boy from Langley Mill, takes Gardner as they approach the chicane. Number 2 and number 8, but Gardner's fighting back. Haslam had the tighter line, and Haslam leads. Gardner second. Roger Marshall closing up now, taking third place, I think, from number 13. Steve Parrish, the fastest man in practice, is holding on to 8th position at the moment. But now, the 1023C Suzuki of Roger Marshall closing up now on the Hondas. It's Gardner from Haslam. And then it's Roger Marshall with Chris Guy holding on to 4th place around the old hairpin. Number 10, Mick Grant is off at Redgate, we're told. Number 10, Mick Grant on the Suzuki, off at Redgate corner, but this is the battle for the lead. He's walking away. Mick Grant perfectly okay. But Gardner now leads from Haslam, with Roger Marshall really closing and Chris Guy holding on. Up the short straight now to Coppice. Safely around there, the 4 of them in line astern. 18-lap race, remember, 35 miles of racing. Wayne Gardner, the leader there, machine number 8. 4th in the TT Formula 1 World Championship, but Rocket Ron goes on the inside. And this is tremendous Superbike racing. Rocket Ron has them ahead of Wayne Gardner, and Roger Marshall with the big Suzuki really closing on them. And a great performance by number 13, Chris Guy, on a 500 machine, Phil.
Well, really, yes, compared with 1,000 4-strokes. But I know he's obviously desperate to find a sponsor, and he's really showing his ability to some potential sponsor. But interesting, too, to see Marshall now, for the first time, up with these faster Honda machines. Now he's using this big Daytona engine. He seems to have the extra power to stay with him.
And not only stay, he's gone into second place because Wayne Gardner is now relegated to third. Rocket Ron Haslam from Langley Mills lead. Number 11, Roger Marshall from Grimsby in second place. This is Ron Haslam. Roger Marshall, Wayne Gardner and Chris Guy, the 4 of them very, very close indeed. So Stu Avant again on a 500cc machine, equal to Chris Guy, and he's really had a tremendous ride to come up on his own. Chris Guy almost tweaked it too quickly there. But we're down now on this fastest part of the circuit, down the Starkey Straight, and Haslam really squirts the power to get to the chicane first. Marshall second, Gardner still third. Lap 7 now completed. And Marshall give it a tweak there. And Cork Ballington on the Kawasaki machine number 9, he's determined to get up front. He's closing slightly as well. But Ron Haslam still leading from Roger Marshall, the Works Honda, against the Works Suzuki. Number 46, Paul Tinker, has had a spill, but we're told he's perfectly okay as well, as Haslam still leads as they come into the old hairpin. Marshall second, and Chris Guy, I think, has moved up into third place. Chris Sky, machine number 13, appears to have taken the 3rd spot from Wayne Gardner as they come down now to McLean's. Ron Haslam, number 2, leads. Number 11, Roger Marshall, still second. Then it's Chris Sky, Wayne Gardner, and Stuart Vant. Stuart Vant had a little bit of a wiggle on the back wheel there as the leader's now already at Copper's Corner. Wayne Gardner closely pursued now by Stuart Vant, a battle for the riders from down under, and very shortly they'll be coming up on tail enders. And Cork Ballington, machine number 9, we're told is lapping in 1 minute 14.9 and closing the gap. And Chris Sky has gone into 2nd place. Chris Sky on the 500 machine ahead now of Roger Marshall. So it's Ron Haslam, number 2, as they cross the line at the end of lap number 8. And Roger Marshall's got it back, though, the superior acceleration down the straights. Chris Sky relegated back to 3rd place. Wayne Gardner and Stuart Vant almost had it there. Stuart Vant almost lost it. And you'll notice the green machine of number 9, Cork Ballington, is really closing up now in 6th place. And here's the rider that's suddenly going to be gobbled up. Two of them are safely past. Number 34, Hermann Verleder. He's from West Germany. He's already been lapped by these 4, the leading 4, Haslam, Marshall, Guy, and Gardner. That's the order as they sweep around. Cork Ballington now has moved up ahead of Stuart Vant. So Cork Ballington moves up into 5th position. Cork Ballington leads. South African riding the 500 Grand Prix Kawasaki, a double world champion at 250 and 350cc racing just a few years ago. And his is the 500 machine as well. And now, who's going to be leading here as they come down to the chicane? And Chris Sky goes through. Chris Sky, number 13, takes the lead from Ron Haslam.
Yeah, unbelievable, Peter. Terrific. You know, glad to see him at last up with the leaders there, really showing what he's made of. He's had a lot of bad luck and needs a break.
But the superior power, once again, of the 1000cc machines puts Ron Haslam back in front, Chris Sky 2nd, Roger Marshall, and then Cork Ballington making his move, and he's up into 4th place, lapping in 1 minute 14.9, just about half a second outside the lap record. Down to the old hairpin. We're on lap number 10. And they're close. They're very close. And Wayne Gardner now trying to bite back at Corky Ballington. Rocket Ron Haslam still leads. Chris Sky is in among them in 2nd place, and Roger Marshall still in 3rd, with Cork Ballington now up into 4th place ahead of Wayne Gardner and Stuart Vant. These are the leading 6, and this is the final round of the World of Sport Superbike Challenge for 1982. Ron Haslam safely around Coppice. Chris Sky on the 500cc Suzuki in 2nd place. Roger Marshall just looked down to the left-hand side of his machine, and is he in trouble?
It's blown, Peter. I saw a big puff of smoke there. This new engine has gone.
So, Roger Marshall's challenge has disappeared. Ron Haslam now has Chris Sky behind him, and Cork Ballington, a magnificent performance, has come up into 2nd place. Roger Marshall is in the pits, out of the race, but look at Cork Ballington through the field. He was 11th on the 2nd lap, and he's worked his way up now into 2nd place, and he's really having a go at Ron Haslam and goes through. Number 9, Corky Ballington from South Africa leads Ron Haslam. We're on lap number 11.
There you see, Peter, he took advantage of a little less power and a bit. Ron Haslam's gone straight on.
Ron Haslam's gone straight on. Ron Haslam ran wide.
He is. That looked bad, Peter.
So there he is, back on the track. Just overcooked it a little, but that means that Cork Ballington is now in the lead. And he's chased by Chris Sky, Wayne Gardner, and Stuart Vant, and they're changing positions all over the place. It comes down to Park Chicane, changing down through the box, 2nd gear, down to about 45, 50 miles an hour. The right, the left, straighten it up, Corky, and here we go. Cork Ballington wins. 2nd position is going to be taken, I would think, by Wayne Gardner, just from Chris Sky and Stuart Vant.
Well, a marvellous race there. Can I just confirm that final placing, Cork Ballington of South Africa on the Kawasaki, winning the World of Sport Challenge, 42 points for him. Wayne Gardner on the Honda in 2nd place with 39. And Momola, unfortunately, didn't race today, and so he finishes in 3rd place with 25 points.